general evaluator. My function is to be the evaluator of anything and everything that went on this morning. So just in general, as a general comment, I really like the way we opened the meeting this morning. It was very well organized. We had the word of the day up, we had the theme of the day up, it was very well described. And then we kind of broke the ice a little bit. We had a picture session, which made things a little bit softer and humorous for the beginning, so I thought that was very good. Okay. I'd like to call up, I'd like to go straight into each evaluation right now. So the first evaluation this morning, I have Mr. Matt Closer, and he's going to be evaluating speaker number 1.
Everybody else gets a clap at the guy in the funny hat. Come on, people. Lori, congratulations on your icebreaker. I know you were nervous about it. I know you had a lot of tests. I know it took a lot of caffeine. But doesn't it feel good now that it's done? And you probably got a high better than just like that first mochaccino that you ever had. You know? Never lasts, but you get such a high when you speak up here for the first time. For the icebreaker, you did a great job. We got a wonderful picture of you, your horses, and your life, and what sort of brought you here to Toastmasters, and that's the whole point of the speech. In fact, you're going to be such a great Toastmaster, I was impressed when you find out what your timing was for your speech, because you went for over 8 minutes. Congratulations. You love speaking. No, that's a wonderful thing. We don't need to stop an icebreaker. We want you to get up here and we want you to get comfortable with speaking. As you progress through the manual, yes, we need to pay attention to our timing and try to keep it within 5 to 7 minutes to practice that discipline. But you did a great job. The next speech you and a lot of the members of the club are going to be working on is organize your speech. And I want to use your speech as an example for that because you had a wonderful speech with great content and it just needed to be reorganized a little bit and it could have had a lot more impact. So I want to use that as an example. The first thing you want is an opening. And a good opening is something that's strong. You get up here, you honor the group, and then you start. There's no need to thank people. There's no need to, oh, I had a rough day getting here. Just begin. It's the beginning and the ending. The first thing you say and the last thing you say. That is the most important part of the speech. Everything else in the middle is just background to that. So, the first thing I thought was that I loved your quote. The outside of the horse is good for the inside of a woman. Even if the quote is man, you can mix it up a little bit, because it's a woman saying that. And I was like, that's very interesting. If you change your speech title, you can even use your speech title to start building some of the excitement in the speech. I was thinking for you something like, my therapist has 4 legs. It builds intrigue, and then your speech would have explained that in a wonderful way. So think about that, and those quotes were great ways to get things started. Because you had so much content, you could have just spoken about the horses, or you could have spoken about your life and how you got from the Redlands and Homestead to Gainesville to Worldwise Consulting. So really you sort of had 2 speeches put together into one. And if I saw that, I'd say let's separate those 2 because you have 2 beautiful speeches here. We can hear more about the horses, the care, the feeding, why you like them. We can hear more about your professional life because we got 9 more speeches to go. So that's part of the body. You had 2 horses with Chico, and I didn't catch the name of the first one, the feisty one that you've had since you're 16. So take a look at those names and how could you develop a little bit more about how you're a reflection of the horse or the horses are a reflection of you. That was the part that I really got out of the speech that I loved the most. Especially like you said, beauty is as beauty does. Finally, the conclusion. You want to go back and recap what you said. As a speaker, it feels monotonous. Like, hey, I wrote this whole speech. I told you. Didn't you hear me? Why do I have to repeat it? But remember, for us, we're hearing it for that first time. So you want to repeat about the 2 horses. And what was the lesson that you learned from them that you want us all to take away when we leave the room? Because when we speak, it's about us. But we want to learn now, it's also about the audience. What do we want them to take away? And hit that up again in the conclusion. Otherwise, it was a great speech. I loved how you were calm, humorous, and open with everyone. And I look forward to number 2. Mr. General Evaluator.
Matt, thank you for that wonderful and positive evaluation as always. I'd like to go right into evaluator number 2 right now, Miss Guillermo.
Big applause, please.
Thank you.
Morning, Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters. I knew it.
We should have a gong here.
One of the things that I admire the most is when people make fun of himself, more than making fun of other people. And that's why I saw today. I saw John making a presentation using a lot of resources, making a PowerPoint, pictures when he was young, making fun of his hat similar to Matt. And I have to say it, John. This is natural for you. It's natural when you stand up here and you talk about your daughter, when you talk about when you were a child. You make it very fun. And I have to say, for me, I admire you because that's the way I see it.
Love you, man.
Okay. You used a lot of resources. PowerPoint, your hat, T-shirt, the street. And well, that was like the ice break of the conversation. So that was really nice. One of the things that I have to say about how the topics were related, that you used a lot of topics, and the way I saw it is that they were not related. Even though they were really funny, they were not related. You talk about the gig, and you talk about your daughter. So that's like the only advice that I have to say here. But that's all. I have a daughter, so I will do the same. She's only 1 year, so.
You got time to plan.
Yeah. So that's all.
Guillermo, thank you for that very detailed and first evaluation. That was very good. Congratulations.
First time.
Congratulations. Going straight into the next evaluator, Mr. John will evaluate the person.
Thank you. Always a good habit to not leave the person hanging up here, try to shake their hand, or do some kind of transition.
That's good.
It's something, out of respect, it helps, trust me. When you got to hand something off to your boss and you do a good transition, things move a little better. Here, we can make all the mistakes we want. Okay, Patricia, you, in an impromptu speech, put together something that's compelling and fun. Every time you come up here, vocal variety, you're using the whole stage constantly. Your hands will be out. You'll see thumbs up. You'll see a lot of personality. And one thing that I would say is I almost wish you could stand on top of this. Because a lot of times, I think this would almost get moved out of the way for you. Or you should be in the center. I'll tell you why. Because if anybody in the back sees you, they can only see half of it. And I get to appreciate a lot sitting right here. I get to see your feet movement, gestures. We should almost have a stage for you. Now, opportunity. One thing I think, you put an amazing hug, 2 gloves. I would have liked to seen 3 gloves or something to tie it together. Possibly with your daughter, a story that relates to the point you're making. Here's why I like it. I walk in, this is how it makes me feel. Overall, vocal variety, amazing. You bring us high, you bring us low, you're a good orator. Come up here and give us a clear message. Thank you.
Thank you, John, for that thoughtful